What's up, Infected? It's Wolf with the Quarantine, and this is Kickstart Your Week. So if you're not familiar with what Kickstart Your Week is, this is my weekly show where I cover the previous week's Kickstarters, the games that I thought looked interesting, and I'll talk a little bit about them, why I thought they were interesting, what made them stand out. There could really be any reason. It's just anything, something about it stood out, and I thought it looked cool. Other than that, the only real rule that I have is I limit it to at most 5 because there's so many Kickstarters out there and I don't have all the time in the world, so I have to draw the line somewhere, and that somewhere is 5 games. Alright, so first up I have Cadia Quest. Now, I own the original Cadia Quest. I didn't kickstart it, I did buy it retail, meaning I only got half of a game, basically. And then I did kickstart Cadia Quest Inferno. I have not actually gotten to get that one to the table, but my original Cadia Quest is fully painted. We have played that a number of times, and it is a great, fun game. It's a very family weight game. It's easy to learn. It's got a lot of silly kind of take that. It's a little campaign adventure you can play with your family. Fantastic game. Now, Cadia Quest looks like it's basically the same game, just sci-fi themed, which is what caught my attention because as some of you guys may know, I love space and sci-fi games, and that's basically what this is. It takes a game that I already know is good and puts it sci-fi. Now, the problem that I have is where everything here is sci-fi, I don't know if you can mix, because in Cadia Quest and Cadia Quest Inferno, you can mix and match the heroes. I can use Cadia Quest heroes in Inferno. I don't think you can use Inferno in Cadia Quest. You might be able to, but I know you can use the old heroes in Inferno and mix and match the monsters and all that stuff. And this one, I don't know if you can bring the old to new or vice versa, but it's got these little chibi anime style minis, which is really, really cool. And again, it's a good, fun little game with a little bit of take that. Now, one of the things that it changes is it doesn't talk in too much depth about it, so I don't know exactly what it entails, but it says that you have a modular monster dashboard. So it's making it seem like even if you play the same mission, you're always going to have different monsters that come out rather than like static monsters. So that I thought that was pretty interesting because in the previous ones, when you play a mission, the mission's always going to start the same way. This one looks like there's a little bit of variation to that, so I thought that was cool. Now, this is the biggest thing that I like. One of the biggest flaws with Cadia Quest is setup and teardown time is insane. Because you gotta take these mats, or you gotta find the boards that go to the map that you're playing. Then you got to look at the book and go, okay, well, we're playing this mission. These are where the tokens go. So you have to find the tokens, set them all out on the boards, and go, okay, this one goes here, this one goes here. Okay, these monsters start here, these monsters start here, these monsters start here, and it's just a hassle and it's time consuming to set up. This looks like everything's printed on the board, and I thought that was cool. With that said, that means the way the original Cadia Quests do it, it adds a lot of variability to the missions when they're, or the tiles. You can use this tile for pretty much every mission, potentially, and just where you put these tokens are going to change. And it looks like you probably can't do that with this one, but to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, I guess. But other than that, it looks like it's the same old Cadia Quest with just tons and tons and tons of stuff. And that's one thing that this one also adds are plastic dashboard trays, which are pretty sexy. I'm not really sure. It looks like the equipment cards are like tiles now, I think. So they go into your little board. I'm not really sure. It looks like you only get 2 heroes now, each faction. So again, I'm not 100% sure exactly how that works. But the problem is if I don't wind up kickstarting this, because I may wind up, I don't know. Like I said, I already have the 2 and I don't get to bring those to the table. But if I don't kickstart this, that also means that if I buy it later, I'm only going to get 50% of what is gotten here. So that's one problem that I have with Cool Mini or Not games. If you don't kickstart it, you're only getting half the content, so that's kind of a bummer, but it is a good game and it's a sci-fi theme, so that definitely speaks to me. Alright, next up is Otmar's Cartography, or Cartography. Now, I'm the resident DM. I actually prefer to DM a lot of the time than play. I like creating the world, creating the characters, telling a story, collaboratively with the players. and I like being in control of, you know, everything. And my DM style is usually, you know, I have bullet points of what needs these things need to happen in this order in order to tell the story. And that's it. That way it gives my players total freedom to pretty much play how they want, and based on their actions, I figure out how to get my bullet points to fit into the story. There are a few things that I pretty much force the players to do that have to happen, but for the most part, I try to keep it as open-ended so my players have full freedom. Now, my least favorite thing about DMing is building the dungeons. That's why a lot of the time I play like Vampire the Masquerade and stuff like that, because I don't have to make a dungeon. It's all kind of abstract combat anyways, and I like that better because I hate making dungeons. Now these cards are basically that. I can shuffle them up and I can draw a card and figure out how and just build the dungeon that way, and then transfer that to my grid paper or whatever, and boom, dungeon's done. I just now figure out puzzles and encounters and stuff to put in it. Now that's what I would use these for. But another thing that this can be used for, which is really cool, is if you're interested in role playing and being a DM, but you maybe don't know a lot about how to, or you're intimidated by it. These are all self-contained campaigns or missions. So you can take these and you can use these to play a game. As it says here, each deck has a downloadable PDF of full adventure modules for 5th edition D&D and Fate with new never before seen monsters, magic items, blah 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 blah. So if you want to DM but it's kind of intimidating for you, you can also try these out, and it will kind of break that ice, and you'll realize it's not as hard as you're probably making it out to be. And it can be loads of fun and super satisfying, or it can make you want to tear out every piece of hair on your body because players are always dumb. But the whole idea behind this is really cool for people seasoned like me and people wanting to get into DMing. It definitely looks cool. As you see here, this is what the entire deck would make, or one of the things the entire deck can make, but I can shuffle it up and change those around in different orientations or whatnot and create a whole new dungeon. And I just thought that looked so cool, and for those times when I don't want to make a dungeon, I'll just let this make the dungeon for me. And lastly is microbrew. So as a lot of you guys may know, or some of you guys may know, I brew my own alcohol, brew my own beer and wine. I've brewed 2 batches of beer so far. I'm probably, in the next month or so, I'm probably going to brew another batch of an English Pale Ale again, because that last one turned out great. I'm going to do a little experimenting and tweaking. But I'm also brewing, just bottled a bunch of mead. I'm going to be brewing a mango wine and a tangerine strawberry wine, which I don't know how the citrus is going to work with the yeast, but I guess I'll find out. But so that's what interested me about microbrew, where I already brew alcohol. It's a game about being a microbrewery, and I thought that was really cool. So basically you have to toss your ingredients here, and along with your hops, to create different types of alcohol. And then you're running a bar, so you have customers come in and they have their ideal beer, so you're going to be brewing it. Brewing takes time. And the biggest thing that I thought was cool, it shows it down here. This gift takes forever. But basically you have these little workers, and I think I just smacked the microphone, but you have these little workers, and you place them out. And every time you place them out, it looks like every time you place it, your brew increases by 1. So you're going to take off one of your little things and set it off to the side. Once they're all gone, then the alcohol has finished brewing. So then, as you saw there, I can push you out, and we can just kind of go back and forth, trying to hit each other or take each other's thing. But as we do, time is still progressing, so our brew is, as you see here, these are coming off. But then there's also, it looks like there's a way that your brew can wind up being contaminated, so you put one of the cubes down here like that, so now it's a contaminated brew. So it's fully fermented but contaminated. So I thought that was really, really cool. So you have to think about, it says, you got to think about your opponents. Will they steal your customer while your beer is fermenting? Can you work out who they're planning to serve and steal their customer? And so you have these customers in here, you're trying to serve them alcohol, and they're going to go to, you know, whoever can brew what they want. And again, I just thought it was really cool where I brew alcohol. It's just cool to see a game that encompasses an abstract thing like brewing alcohol and turns it into a game. I thought that was really, really neat. And those are my Kickstarters for this week. There were only 3. And I'm not going to really beat around the bush. The game that I felt I'm going to give my arbitrary Kickstarter of your week award to is going to be Cadia Quest. Because I already own Arcadia Quest, and I already own Arcadia Quest Inferno. And out of all these, if there's one I'm going to back, it's probably going to be Cadia Quest, because I already know it's a great game. My only problem is the fact that I haven't even gotten Inferno to the table, because just it's a commitment, because it's a campaign style game, and I know you can play it solo, but again, I have reasons why, you know, I don't, because I haven't painted the new stuff, and I want to use the old heroes, and I probably need to get over that. But Cadia Quest looks like a good solid game. It's got lots of cool upgrades that make setup and tear down so much faster, because it's one of the biggest headaches of the game is setting it up and tearing it down is just a chore. Looks like they're streamlining that, making it to where maybe less variability, but, you know, to make an omelet, again, you have to break a few eggs. So they sacrificed a couple things for convenience, which is always welcome. Well, not always welcome, but it's definitely welcome with Arcadia Quest. I feel like I would probably be able to get Arcadia Quest to the table more. So I don't know. I may wind up backing it, but I may wind up not. I'm not really sure. But yeah, Cadia Quest is my Kickstarter of the week. Alrighty, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you'd like to help support the channel, I have a Patreon link down below. I also have a one-time donation button down below as well if you'd like to help support the channel that way. Even $1 definitely helps, and I appreciate anybody who would like to help support the show. If you're new here, I have hit that subscribe button down over here, I think it is. Hit that subscribe button, stick around. Every subscriber, everybody who watches my show definitely helps support the show. I appreciate each one of you guys. Keep playing games, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.